We're on YouTube and recorded. So we are now at 12:57. We will wait for people to get online as quickly as possible. I would like to convene the meeting quickly, but ultimately under the rules, we must convene by a quarter after the hour. So there's just some information for people who are listening in. And if you don't see any of your colleagues on and you feel that there might be an issue, go ahead and give them a text now. In the meantime, I'll mute until we are needed.
Liz. Oh, where did Liz go?
Yes, I'm here.
Wait, who sent the agenda? Because I'm looking for it and I can't find it. So
It's Peter.
Oh, Peter sent it?
Peter Mrozewski, yep.
All right. That's
It
what I
was
thought.
sent at, no, that's mine. I don't know where yours is sent. Peter, do you know when you sent it? I can forward it to you if you want.
Yeah, I just wanted to follow along because I, on my
Actually,
phone.
you know what'd be really helpful?
No,
You got it?
The last Peter one I got was Tuesday, so I don't think that was the agenda.
Peter, can you do me a favor? Can you quickly email it out to the entire committee? You can also access the agenda on the CGA website, but I think what also might be helpful is if we need to put it up on the screen, we could figure that out too.
Okay,
We'll just have to make sure that we have your email correct so that you're getting everything you're supposed to be getting.
It's in the calendar event.
Yeah, no, I know where it is on CGA. I just was looking for it in my email, but yeah, I can go there.
It did come with that Tuesday email.
Oh, it did?
Yes,
Okay.
it was an attachment.
Okay, I was thinking it was probably recent. Okay. Thank you.
Peter got it. Good. Peter has a habit of being very efficient.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Hi, Madam Chair. Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well.
Hello, Mr. Co-Chair. How are you?
Excellent. Excellent. Good to see you all.
It is good to see everyone. It's really great to get back to work, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely. Senator Boyd is here. Senator Moore is here. Representative Foster. Hi, everyone. I think that we're getting there. Hey, Peter, can you throw it out to us and let us know. I think that we are waiting on, if my memory serves, 3 other members of the committee. Am I correct in that?
1 second, we're still admitting a couple people.
Okay, thank you. Peter, if you could just do me a favor and give me the go when ready for me. I think that'd be the most helpful.
We have 12 of our 14 members. Representative, you're muted.
There we go. You'd think the world was trying to tell me something. Okay, and I think that then we're going to give it approximately 1 more minute and then we'll start. I just want to make sure that everybody has a chance to get in.
Okay, Liz, Robin Green is going to
Yes.
come on late. She's in another meeting, but she wanted me to text her before a vote at the end. So
Got it.
don't wait for her, okay?
You got it. Okay, so let's begin then. Welcome to the Committee on Children, our first meeting where votes actually happen. We're so proud to have you guys here. Today we will be looking to draft committee bills and raise some concepts. Before I start with the housekeeping that I normally need to start with, I do want to quickly throw it to my co-chair to see if there are any remarks that you'd like to Senator Anwar?
Thank you, Madam Co-Chair. Welcome everyone, and looking forward to rolling up our sleeves. This is very challenging times. In the last many months, we have seen how this pandemic has impacted the people who have been infected, but also the secondary ripple effects that we have seen in our communities, in our towns, in our entire state are our children, and the children who have not been able to be as active and interact with their friends and other family members and their parents, grandparents. In many cases, this is something that is very real for them. And this is hopefully not going to be their normal. And then we have a responsibility collectively to make sure we have a protection for them and also address all the issues that in 2020 we were not able to achieve because of the pandemic. So this actually becomes part of the collective management of the disaster. And I am so glad that all of my colleagues and friends are here to help this effort to take care of our children in our community. Thank you, Madam Chair, for your leadership. Thank you.
Thank you so very much for those words. I apologize for a little bit of distraction. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate you, Senator Anwar, and it is such a pleasure to have you as my co-chair. My remarks are really going to be around housekeeping today. So a couple of the things. First of all, I do want to remind everyone that we are live on YouTube and we are also on CTN today. So a special thank you to those fine folks who work at CTN. We appreciate what you do in helping us remain transparent to our constituents. I'd also like to say a quick thank you to my House Ranking Member, Rafne, for working with us leading up to this meeting to ensure that everybody feels comfortable going into this meeting, because we are the little committee that could, and we're here to do great things for children, and that requires all of us to work together. So Rep. Daphne, thank you so very much for your patience in working with us, and I look forward to a really great session alongside you. There is a vote procedure, and because it is Zoom, things are a little different. I hope that even the differences are uniform across committees, but here's what we're going to do here in the Committee on Children. When we vote, clerk is going to go down the list and call your name. We ask that you state your name, wait 1 second, and then say yes or no, or yay or nay. For instance, I would say Representative Linehan votes yay. So that gives the clerk enough time to ensure that Zoom has connected you, that you have been unmuted. One thing that has worked in another committee that I think would work well here is before I begin the roll call vote, before we call the roll call vote, I will remind everyone, if it is possible and quiet where you are, to possibly unmute while waiting for your turn, or you can just know where your name falls alphabetically, and therefore you can unmute 1 or 2 people prior to you. It just makes things go faster. Luckily, we're a small committee, so it's not going to take us forever to get through this, to get through the votes. But it is very important that A, you are on video when you vote, and B, that we can hear your full name and when you vote. If for some reason the clerk did not hear that, you were not on video or not clear, the clerk will then recall your name to confirm your vote. And with that, I think it's time to move to item number 3 on our agenda, proposed bills to draft as committee bills. Before we begin, I am going to let you guys know that I have been asked by Rep. Dauphiné, as my ranking member, to go down each of the bills and the concept and be able to answer questions about them. I will give explanation and I will explain them and answer any questions that you have. But with that comes, I'd like to have a motion to build a consent calendar. Can I have that motion?
Madam Chair, we move to create a consent calendar.
Second.
Thank you. Moved by Senator Anwar. Do I have a second?
I'll
Second.
second that, Madam Chair.
Okay, that was really confusing. I'm not sure who seconded it, so I'm not going to call it, but I will have the clerk do that.
Representative Whelan.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Representative Wieelander, thank you so very much for that second. And we're going to move to item number 1 to build on a consent calendar. And it is an act concerning the safety, education,
Chair,
and social equity.
we-
Yes.
Should we get
ahead.
approval of everybody for that vote on the?
Oh, my
Consent
apologies,
calendar.
Sarah. Do we need a vote to go ahead and do that since there were no objections?
You don't, without objection, you can open a consent calendar. You're all set.
Okay,
Perfect.
great. Thank you.
Thank
But awesome. Thank you, Senator. I do sometimes need that check. So that would be Senate Bill, I believe it's number 2, an act concerning the safety, education, and social equity of children in response to the pandemic. We do have a brief summary of where this bill is intended to go. Senator Anwar, would you like to read that summary or would you like to have me do that?
And what we can do is, Madam Chair, if we can do that in the discussion, so that we propose the draft for this committee bill.
Okay, so quick question though, Senator Anwar, I have a question then for Sarah O'Connor. Do we vote to draft typically before the explanation, or do we make a motion to vote to draft, then I explain and then move it? It's
If your motion, is your motion eventually going to be to add this item to the consent calendar?
Yes.
So you can make that motion, and at that point you can ask if there are any questions, or you can, say whatever you'd like to say about the bill.
Okay, so given that, then Senator Anwar, can we have a motion then to move it to consent calendar to raise it?
Madam Chair, we move to move item number 131, which is SB number 2, to consent calendar.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Rep. Wieelander seconded that motion. Senator Anwar, would you give a brief summary of this bill?
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. Yes, I think this is look at how we will be able to collectively address the safety, education, and social equity of children in response to the pandemic. As per my opening comments, we have talked about the challenges that the children are facing at various levels, and this is going to require efforts to comprehensive strategy that we will need, and this bill, once drafted, is going to hopefully be able to start to tackle some of the concerns that we have for our children in our state.
Thank you very much, Senator. I now open that up and call on Representative Pat Boyd.
All right, thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to make the kind of a general statement about any of the things, that a member voting to draft or raise a concept is not necessarily, for the record, support of the bill. That it's just not particularly in this bill, but that anybody who votes for this, we're raising to hear it and discuss it more, not necessarily support the contents of it. So I just wanted to put that out for the record. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Representative. I appreciate you doing that. I had the intention of saying the same thing, but you beat me to it, and I really do appreciate you doing that. With that, are there any other questions? Unfortunately, I cannot see who has their hand raised, so we're going to have to go through technology, and I will get notified if you raise your hand using the participant section. And seeing none, I think. Okay, great. Seeing none, I would like to move that to consent calendar. Is there anyone who disagrees with that? Seeing none, that moves to consent calendar. Thank you very much.
Madam Chair, I move to include item number 3.2, which is proposed bill SB number 35, an act concerning financial assistance for post-secondary education expenses for certain individuals adopted of Children's and Families Foster Care Program.
Thank you for that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
So,
Madam Chair,
thank you.
can I clarify that that's item number 2 under category 3?
Correct.
Correct.
Item 2 under Roman numeral 3. And since this is a Senate bill, Senator Anwar, would you like to give a brief description, please?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a bill that we had passed out of committee, I think twice passed. I think last 2020 session we passed it. This bill was first proposed by Dr. Pettit or Representative Pettit a few years ago, and this impacts foster care children who have been adopted. There was, well, for a lack of a better word, there was a glitch where children who were adopted after 2004 towards the end were included, but we are trying to expand that from 2001 so that the children who've been adopted, there are our children, our state's children who've been adopted would be the ones get their support for higher education.
Thank you very much, Senator Anwar. I'd like to open up any comments or questions to our ranking members. We'll start with Senator Martin.
No comments. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Rep. Dauphiné. Do you
No
have any questions or comments? Okay, open it up to any comments from anybody else. Seeing none, I move that we send that over to the consent calendar, Roman numeral 3, item 2. Any objections?
Madam Chair, Senator Moore has a
Yes.
question, I believe.
Oh, you do? Okay, sorry about that. Hi, Senator Moore.
Hi, dear. I just wanted to ask Senator Anwar the reason for the date.
Thank you, Senator Moore. I think that if you look at the age, for the most part of the children who have been impacted, this date would be inclusive of the children who are going through higher education, and we may be able to help them. So this is based on a constituent that I have in my district, and also Representative Pettit in his district as well. And there are some children in our communities who actually have been adopted, but they cannot, their adopted parents, or in many cases their mothers, are unable to pay for their higher education, and they are very capable students who are going through financial challenges. So it's going to help their opportunity for education. So, but this expansion is a very narrow expansion, which is going to keep the cost to the state in check at the same time, but also impact the majority of the children that have been left behind by us.
Thank you.
Does that answer your question, Senator Moore? Yes, you're okay. All right. With that, we will move it to the consent calendar if there are still no objections. Great. Seeing none, thank you very much. We will now move on to number 3, which is a proposed Senate Bill number 36, an act concerning school lunch debt. Again, I'm going to kick that to you, Senator Anwar. Would you like to give an explanation before we move that over to the consent calendar?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, before I even start that, I wanted to also recognize my counterpart, Senator Martin, who has been very kind and helpful, and with his experience as one of the chairs, is been guiding us through some of this process, and it was good to be able to interact and contact him early to make sure that he's comfortable with our bills as well. So thank you, Senator Martin. This is an act concerning school lunch debt. I wanted to talk about this because this was a bill that was passed by the committee in the past. And this is again one of the 2020 bills, which is going to address the challenges our students have had. There are some school systems where a child would be treated differently. They would not get a meal, or would get a different meal if they had not passed. It would be somewhat embarrassing and difficult for the children. We are trying to join some of the other states to restrict that, so that our children are fed when they go for education. And many of the districts are very conscious, but it's not across the board. So we want to take care of this need that we have for our children, especially during the pandemic time. And the second part is that we will give the opportunity for local and statewide organizations to be able to help the school system should there be some financial challenges around some of these children. Thank you. Madam Co.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And Senator Anwar, can I have a motion to move that to the consent calendar, please?
Madam Chair, we move to add item number 3 with Roman numeral 3 and item number 3 to consent calendar.
May I have a second?
Second.
Representative Wieland seconds that. Thank you very much. Are there any questions or statements? Let's start with our ranking members. Senator Martin.
No, thank you.
You're welcome. Rep. Dauphiné.
No, thank you.
Okay, so opening it up to the rest of the committee. Are there any questions? Seeing none, we then move that over to the consent calendar and move on to concepts to raise. The first concept to raise is an act concerning a program to provide free swimming lessons to individuals under the age of 18. That is item number 1 under Roman numeral 4. Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. Should we take item number 4 as well on Roman numeral 3?
I'm sorry, did I skip that? I have to apologize. I am working off of a pre-printed sheet that half of it didn't print. So thank you very much for that, because this has been difficult. So yes, let me look at it on my phone. Yes, proposed bill, Senate bill. I'm sorry?
I move that we include item number 4 and Roman numeral number 3, SB number 92, and act establishing a tax credit for employers that make payments towards childcare costs of employees to the consent calendar.
Thank you very much. And do I have a second for that?
Second.
Representative Wieland, thank you very much. And so let's have a discussion. Go ahead, Senator.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is, again, a 2020 bill that passed through the committee, and this is a bill that is going to give the opportunity to the employers to get a tax credit for being responsible employers, and hopefully encourage them to allow their workforce, including in overwhelming majority of the cases, young mothers, to be able to have care provided and get a tax credit in those situations. So it will be mutually beneficial not only to the employee but the employer, and encourage a healthy workplace.
Excellent. Thank you so very much. Given that explanation, and are there any comments from our ranking members? Senator Martin.
None, thank you.
Rep. Dauphiné.
No, thank you.
You're welcome. Opening up to the committee. Do we have any questions or comments? Excellent. Seeing none, we will move that to the consent calendar. I want to ask Sarah, is it possible to take concepts to raise and read them off and move them over to the consent calendar in one bunch, and then open it up and people can ask questions as they see it?
So you're going to move to place items 1.
I'd like to move items
and
1 through 10 to consent calendar. I'd like to entertain that motion. If someone make the motion and second it, and then ask instead of going singularly down.
Okay,
Move.
Okay, second. Try again, Rep.
I'll
Wieland, we
second.
didn't hear you.
Senator Moore, second.
Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Okay, so are there any questions on any of these concepts to raise? I can go down them quickly. I will read them off, and then you just let us know if there are any questions. So item 1, moving to consent calendar, an act concerning a program to provide free swimming lessons to individuals under the age of 18, which is what we did last year. And this bill passed unanimously out of committee, and we're doing that again. And essentially, it's a pilot program to help kids who typically do not have access to swimming lessons and have a higher incidence of drownings within their communities, that we have them that DEEP provide swimming lessons through the WISE for those. We have item number 2, an act concerning the Albert J. Solnit children. Again, this is the same bill from 2020, and this is essentially moving licensure over from DCF over to the Department of Public Health. Number 3, we have an act establishing a youth suicide prevention pilot program. This also was the same bill from last year, and this creates the question, persuade, and refer program, which is a train the trainer model. So we are training people in areas where they have higher incidence of youth suicide and youth depression, so that members of their community can provide suicide screening in this training. Then we have an act requiring, number 4, an act requiring a survey of court-involved youths. This passed unanimously out of committee as well. Just requires that information pertaining to youth that are court involved and questioning if they have any concerns, especially about being LGBTQ, that there is that question added to the survey so that we can ensure to give them, put them in the care of individuals who would support what these children need. Additionally, we have number 5, an act concerning the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention Youth Behavior Survey. That is essentially the bill last year, again, which would add a question to the Youth Risk Behavior Survey, which comes from the federal government, and it is given to school districts around the state. We would add the additional question regarding youth, or rather adult sexual misconduct toward youth, so that we can understand the scope of the problem and better be able to fix it, knowing that scope. Number 6 would be an act concerning the online sale and delivery of electronic nicotine delivery systems and vapor products. That it also, again, is the same 2020, that simply requires a license, the license uploaded in order to purchase these products online exactly matches the credit card with which it's used to purchase, as an effort to weed out youth who are taking their parents' license but using debit cards or prepaid gift cards to purchase these products. That has actually had a lot of support last year, was supposed to be in Tobacco 21, was inadvertently left out, and we are now passing it out of committee again this year so that we can finally sew that up. Number 8, an act requiring background checks for employees of licensed youth camps. That's exactly what it sounds. We are looking to create background checks for camp employees who are over the age of 18. Number 9 is an concerning mobile vending. This is something that many of you may be getting emails about. This is regarding, it's a response to a tragedy that happened in my hometown of Cheshire. And what happened was a young boy crossing the road after getting an ice cream cone, and unfortunately he was struck and killed. And so this is a bill that we will be putting together that will take the best policy from other states and municipalities, and they are safety policies, and we'll be putting them in to ensure that mobile vending units are safe for children to use. And number 10 is an act concerning attendance. This bill is made to sort of codify what some districts have done and what others have not around the state, where a student, if they are technically supposed to be an in-person learner, but they instead start to get maybe the sniffles or something that may be seen as COVID related, that they can stay home and utilize learning and still get credit for attending school. Kids in high school need a certain amount of days of attendance in order to graduate. And we believe that this is about parity of those students, because if you are attending, whether you are in-person remote learner, you're still attending school, and you should be able to claim that attendance as such. Given that, are there any questions regarding any of these concepts to raise? Rep. Lanoue, do you have a question?
Yes, Madam Chair. Actually, just one brief comment, if I may.
Sure.
Again, I want to thank the committee and you,
Go ahead, sir.
Madam Chair, for raising item number 8 on the background checks for certain youth camp employees. I just wanted, assuming that we're going to be using the language from the 2020 bill, I would just like to have noted, particularly in section 1B from that, where we talked about, we want to satisfy the Code of Federal Regulations, section 45, make sure that's satisfied. I would just like to see a few words inserted in addition to that, that it also satisfies the language that we put in this subsection. So if the federal regulation went away, we would make sure this the bill and this law would still be protected under state statute. So I'd just like to have that noted for the record, if I may.
That is noted, sir. Thank you very much for that. And of course, as we move through the process here through the public hearing, of course, we will have the ability to recognize, debate those, and ultimately put forward language that would possibly support that. But I think all of that stuff is going to come out through the public hearing. So thank you very much. It has also come to my attention that you're welcome, that I inadvertently skipped number 7, an act requiring the provision of information concerning child sexual abuse, which is rather funny since that's one of my most important favorite bills. What this bill is, this is essentially, it is the dissemination of information to parents and children regarding child sexual abuse and what grooming looks like so that they can recognize it before abuse happens. And this bill also passed unanimously out of committee last year. So for those items, I'm trying to see if there are any other hands raised. I see Senator Martin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It seems like most of these, if not all, are bills that got out of committee last year. I just have one request. If there are any changes that are made to the language, could you make sure that we see what those changes are? So they're highlighted or whatever they do to show us that there's
Absolutely.
Great, thank you. That is it.
I can just.
Yeah, you're welcome.
mention that-
I think that is a great request and it makes a lot of sense. Senator Anwar?
I was just going to say many of them will have date changes for sure from implementation, but that's the only change I'm foreseeing. But I think it's worthy to keep that in track. That's a good point. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So are there any objections to moving items 1 through 10 under concept raise to the consent calendar? Seeing none, those items have been moved to the consent calendar. And now I ask Mr. Clerk for a roll call vote on the consent calendar.
Good morning, Representative. I do believe we need a motion to vote on the consent calendar.
Oh, do I have a motion to vote on the consent calendar?
Or motions to vote on the consent calendar.
I will
Have a second. It's
Second.
been moved and seconded. Mr. Clerk.
All right, today's consent calendar, Senate Bill 2, Senate Bill 35, proposed Senate Bill 2, proposed Senate Bill 35, proposed Senate Bill 36, proposed Senate Bill 92, and items 1 through 10 on concepts to be raised. Representative Linehan.
Yes.
Representative Linehan, I need your
Oh,
name.
Representative Linehan votes yes. My apologies.
Senator Anwar.
Senator Anwar votes yes.
Representative Dauphinais.
Representative Dauphinais votes yes.
Senator Martin.
Senator Martin votes yes.
Representative Welander.
Representative Welander votes yes.
Senator Bradley. Representative Boyd.
Representative Boyd, yes.
Representative Comey.
Representative Comey, yes.
Representative Foster.
Representative Foster votes yes.
Representative Ford votes yes.
Representative Luxembourg. Representative Green. Senator Cohen. Senator Moore.
Senator Moore votes yes.
That is everyone, but we are letting in Representative Luxembourg right now.
Liz, may I make a comment? I think both Senator Bradley and Rep. Green were there for the vote, but couldn't hear them for some reason. I think they're both muted.
I'm
Yes.
present now. If the clerk would like to call my roll, I'm more than happy to voice my vote.
Of course, Senator Bradley on the consent calendar.
Senator Bradley votes in the affirmative.
Madam Chair, my name was not called.
I am sorry, Representative Lanu.
Representative Lanu votes yes.
Can we call Representative Luxembourg, please?
Representative Luxembourg voting on today's consent calendar.
Representative Luxembourg votes yes on the consent calendar.
And
And we have Senator Cohen.
Green.
Here we go. Representative Green votes yes.
And Senator Cohen.
Representative Boyd, yes. Representative Boyd, yes.
Sorry, Peter, you're waiting for a vote. I literally just came in, so I don't know what the vote is. I'm sorry. I wouldn't want to vote on something I don't know.
The vote is currently on today's consent calendar, all 4 items on their proposed bills to draft and all 10 items on their consent.
Great. That's a yes from Senator Cohen.
Thank you. Representative Linehan, everyone.
Thank
in
you
the
very
seat
much.
has voted.
You muted yourself, Peter. Or did you say everyone in the committee has voted?
Yes, everyone has voted on the consent calendar.
Thank you very much, Mr. Clerk. So the next item is the announcement of time and date of next meeting. That is February 4th at 1 p.m. for a public hearing. And with that, we adjourn the Committee on Children today. Thank you all very much.
I have a question.
Sure.
I'm sorry, I had my hand up. Maybe you didn't see it. Can we get, I don't know if you already sent this out and I missed it, but could we get a list of all the committee members? Was that already sent out?
I am sure, but I think that's a very good point. And Mr. Clerk, will you be able to do that today?
Of course, I'll send that out right away, Senator.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And by the way, everyone, thank you for being patient with us as we work out some of the books. This is kind of new to all of us and what we would do here with the new rules. Thank you all very much. I appreciate your time. Thank you for being members of the Committee on Children, and we will all see you on February 4th.
Thank you.
Adjourned.
Motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Senator Morgan, thank you, Senator.
More second.
And all those, anybody against adjournment? Seeing none, we are adjourned.